Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. The Cardinal bats, can they come alive? We've seen more strikeouts lately. They'd love to cut down on that and pick up a win. Ozuna, a couple of home runs last night. And baseball comes your way next. Team that came back after being down 3-1 against St. Louis. The Cardinals getting set for baseball tonight. They're cleaning up the field right now after the ceremony, and it's also a time to remember where you were 20 years ago. Mark McGuire connects off a Cub hurler, Steve Trexel. Let's take you back 20 years ago at Busch Stadium. Kubota Power Stats 341-foot line drive, 62nd home run, breaking the single-season home run record set in 1961 by Roger Maris. That historic home run comes in the 4th inning, a nationally televised game that my partner Tim McCarver was a part of with Joe Buck. You just heard his call. I know where you were the night of 62, and you saw history, and you saw that big hug.
And the big hug for Mark's son, of course, and then immediately he went into the first row behind the first base dugout where the Cardinals were housed and hugged every member of the Roger Maris family, including his wife, Pat.
It was the final game, by the way, of a homestand, and you know the pressure was there not only to set the record, Tim, but to do it in front of the fans at Busch Stadium.
That's exactly right. It was home run numbers 62, of course, and that broke the great Roger Maris's home run record held in 1961 to break Babe Ruth's home run record of 60.
There's Matt Carpenter, he himself with 35 home runs this year. We're at Comerica Park. Willie Horton there on the left. Al Kaline is here. Many of the greats from the 1968 team. Sometimes at ceremonial first pitch, it's a flip, like Willie Horton right there on the left. They're celebrating the 68 team. And when we come back, we hope to have baseball for you on time. Maybe, maybe not. We can reminisce about the 68 season. His rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. It was October 7, 1968. The height of the protest against the Vietnam War, and Feliciano invited by Ernie Harwell, the longtime Tigers broadcaster, to perform the Star-Spangled Banner at Tiger Stadium. It was before Game 5, highly controversial because of his personalized way that he did the anthem, but he changed it in many ways too.
It was his expression of how the anthem should be done. And here it is 50 years later, and he's still doing the anthem the same way.
It's awesome.
Awesome is right.
And you had a chance to connect Jose Feliciano with Orlando Cepeda before today's game, as those two have become very good friends, as you pointed out during the telecast last night.
And it's their birthday today. Both Feliciano and Cepeda. Cepeda is 81. Feliciano is 72. And Orlando, we hooked up Orlando Cepeda, who is being honored at San Francisco tonight, or in San Francisco at AT&T Park. And Feliciano here, and the minute they took the phone, of course, they broke into Spanish, and I didn't know what they were saying. But I assume it was something about their birthdays.
That's awesome. Matthew Boyd gets the call tonight. He's a lefty for the Detroit Tigers. Throwback uniforms, by the way, for both these teams to 1968. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Matthew Boyd, who's been very good recently at home for the Tigers. And the first pitch is hit out of play, and we are underway here at Comerica Park. Notice the shorter sleeves, the Cardinal uniforms. 65 degrees here in Detroit. Overcast skies, along with Tim McCarver, Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And the 0-1 pitch is taken for a ball, 1-1. I'm sure, as you were watching the ceremonies, and a great ceremony here done by the Tigers, so many memories for you.
Oh boy. And most of them were good. The bad memories, of course, in Game 7. And Bob Gibson pitched a remarkable game in Game 7. As a matter of fact, the Tigers had one base runner in the first 6 innings. That was a harmless single by Mickey Stanley, their shortstop. And then, of course, the Tigers scored 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning. We came back. Mike Shannon had a home run in the bottom of the 9th, and I made the last out of the series.
So some good, some bad memories.
Some good, some bad.
Strikeout of Carpenter to start this game, followed by Martinez, and then O'Neill. He's in right field tonight. Marcell Ozuna, a pair of home runs in Game 1. Then Paul DeYoung, Jairo Munoz at second base, Harrison Bader, Patrick Wisdom, and Francisco Pena. And the first pitch to Martinez is swung on and missed for strike 1.
And Dan, in my view, here's a guy right here who's got to get going if the Cardinals are expected offensively to do what they were doing over the last 2 months for Mike Shildt and the Cardinals. And that's Jose. I was going to say Jose Feliciano, but it's Jose Martinez.
Well, if he's still got power, put him in the lineup. I noticed right after Jose Feliciano finished up his rendition of the national anthem, immediately Jose Oquendo ran over as the Cardinals were lined up, and hands on their chest, hats off, and Jose ran over to speak with him, both from Puerto Rico, and I'm sure they had a very nice conversation. It wouldn't surprise me if they know each other.
Particularly after the hurricane last year. Yadier Molina doing so much. We talked about that last night, but Jose Oquendo gets back occasionally to Puerto Rico, but that lovely island to the southeast of our country really went through heck last year.
And back-to-back strikeouts to start the night for Matthew Boyd. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Matuk, Reyes, Castellanos. Along the infield, Candelario, Goodrum, Lugo, Aducci, and Greiner behind the plate. Here's Tyler O'Neill with 2 outs and nobody on. Looks at a strike.
Cardinals had 12 strikeouts in last night's game, and the first 2 tonight go down striking out.
Yeah, seeing that a little bit more here recently.
Yeah.
And the 0-2 pitch to O'Neill. Strikes out the side here in the first inning. Jack Flaherty on the mound for St. Louis. All games down the stretch, important for the Redbirds. Flaherty coming up when we come back. Jack Flaherty going tonight, 24th start of the year. Look at the ERA, it's under 3. In this day and age, anything under 3, you're pitching very, very well.
You don't see a guy in a 3/4 shirt underneath his regular shirt. By the way, 32, the same number Steve Carlton had some 50 years ago.
Hyundai pitch arsenal for Jack Flaherty. Always talk about the very good slider he possesses. Here's the lineup: Candelario, Aducci, Castellanos, Martinez, Goodrum, Matuk, Greiner, Lugo, and Reyes. 4 switch hitters in this lineup. Ron Gardenhire, really a rebuilding year for Detroit. Some of their stars have been shipped away, and they're going to see one of them coming back, and that's Justin Verlander on Monday night. He'll be pitching for the first time here in Detroit.
In the Houston Astros uniform. Very, very popular here in Detroit, and should be.
And the first pitch by Flaherty taken low.
It's not too early to talk about Verlander belonging in the Hall of Fame, is it? I don't think so.
I think you have to change the way you look at it in terms of wins and losses. You know, it used to be 300 wins, you're in.
Yeah, that's right.
But the complete body of work of postseason and strikeouts, ERA, some of the advanced metrics you can talk about. And I agree with you. He's on his way.
35 years old.
I'd throw Max Scherzer in that conversation too.
Absolutely.
2-1 the count. Hard to believe Jack Flaherty only 22, Tim.
I forgot what that feels like.
I said this to you off the air, and they were introducing some of the 68 members of the Tigers, and I'm trying to figure out how the 68 Cardinals lost. That 68 and 67 team that you had was loaded. The leadoff walk.
Loaded with pitching in a year of the pitcher.
That's right. 1.12 ERA of Bob Gibson.
Mind-blowing.
When Bob Gibson twirled his historic 1.12, he was 32 years old, 4-time All-Star at that point. 10 years older than Jack Flaherty is now. And Jack finishing up his rookie campaign at the age of 22. There's a ground ball and a base hit that's under the glove of DeYoung and into left field.
DeYoung did not have a good jump on that ball. His first move was his left foot towards second. Just a slight hesitation. Watch. See that left foot? When the left foot hit, it's too late to go to the right, just under his glove. But at least if he feels the ball, he gets 1. Maybe not 2, but 1.
Castellanos, the right fielder. And the point I was going to bring up is the fact that we pointed out in the open, but in 68, the opponent average against Gibson 184, for Flaherty right around 190. It's incredible. And a slider misses low and away.
It's so unlike Jack Flaherty to walk the leadoff batter in any inning. One of his telltale things that he does well is control, and walking the first batter on 5 pitches, very unusual.
One ball and one strike. You know, something to think about. Young guy getting ready for his start, and it was really a state of flux in terms of the first pitch because of the ceremony. They weren't sure how short or long it would go. Guys, creatures of habit, but Flaherty usually is out there about 50 minutes before his first pitch, getting loose, and you never know if that has an effect on a pitcher. When that start time is, they're such creatures of habit and routine.
Well, when you're 22, it could have an effect on you because you don't know how to handle that particular type of mild adversity when you're that young.
And it's mild. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Yes, right. And as he matures, it won't be a big deal, but it could have been tonight.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Castellanos. Taken high. And again, no Yadier Molina in the lineup. Looks like he may not play this weekend. Cardinals are hopeful Monday night we get back to Busch Stadium against the Pirates. And the Pirates, by the way, will be without Gregory Polanco for the remainder of the season with a knee and shoulder issue. So it's a big bat out of their lineup. The 2-2 pitch. Little bit low, not by much.
Who's starting that game on Monday? Adam Wainwright.
Not only a big game for the club in terms of wins and losses, but a big game for Wainwright going forward too. Runners at first and second, nobody out. The 3-2 pitch popped up, out of play.
Jack Flaherty's not right yet. Now sometimes work through an inning and you get through an inning and go on to the next inning and you might be okay, but so far this is not Jack Flaherty's normal routine right here. Hanging a couple of breaking balls, walking the first hitter.
And falls behind here, 3-2. And a ground ball that's pulled foul. And foul ball 2 pitches ago. I saw a plumber that got that foul ball.
I get your drift.
3-2 the count.
Pants were riding a little low, were they?
A little bit. Caught my attention.
That would.
3-2 pitch, and the base is loaded. So the base is loaded and nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Ozuna, Bader, and O'Neill in the outfield. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Wisdom, DeYoung, Munoz, and Carpenter, and Pena behind the plate. So the base is loaded, nobody out.
Now the Cardinals toyed with Victor Martinez last night, but he's one of the best clutch hitters in the game. In the first inning of last night's game, he grounded into a double play. We'll see how Flaherty Of course, nobody out. The Tigers have had the bases loaded, nobody out 6 times this season and have not scored.
And the first pitch to Martinez gets away from Pena. A run will score, and it's 1-0 Detroit.
It looked like a sailing fastball, a cutter, and Pena couldn't come up with it. Runners move up 90 feet. Tigers take the lead. Not a lot more can go wrong for Jack Flaherty.
Wild pitch.
You almost have to keep the middle infielders back too, Dan. You don't want an explosive inning. Already 1 run in.
Falls behind again, 2 balls and no strikes. So 16 pitches here in the bottom of the first, and no outs recorded by Jack Flaherty. And the 2-0 is hit out to right. Going back, O'Neill. He'll make the catch. Runners tag up. 2-0 Detroit. Run batted in, number 52 for Victor Martinez.
And that's when an experienced hitter, a professional hitter, gets ahead in the count looking for 1 pitch. Martinez knew he had Flaherty on the ropes, got a good pitch to hit. Fortunately for the Cardinals, it was at the right fielder. Still drove in the run. Now you bring the infield in. Have to.
Nico Goodrum with 1 out and strike 1. A breezy, cool night here in Detroit. That's it out of play. And it's 0-2.
Dan, it's always a good couplet for a pitcher. And usually you hope he's going better than Flaherty, but breaking ball will start a hitter off with, and then that makes things reasonable to throw the fastball. So curveball, fastball, it's a good 2-pitch selection by Pena.
Cardinal pitchers have talked about it. They're so used to Molina, but when Pena gets the chance, and you can understand this, the relationship with a catcher and a pitcher, there's a comfort level there in how he calls the game.
Absolutely.
2-2. Late in the season, it's got a feel of October in the air here in Detroit.
That's a good point. Yes. It's not going to happen here in Detroit, but it may happen in St. Louis.
The 2-2 pitch inside and a full count.
Well, we have just not seen Jack Flaherty miss by as much as he's been missing here in the first inning. It's all over the place.
The strikeout in his first of the night with a slider on the 2-2. And Matuk with the infield back now and 2 outs. It's the risk you run too, isn't it, Tim, a little bit when you rely on youth so much? You know, the Cardinals, their staff, the entire weekend, started by rookies, including tonight. There's the plus of the youthful energy and the vibrance, but also sometimes it can go the other way too. Not always, but sometimes.
Well, the one thing that the Cardinals have not done, they haven't had to make excuses because their team's too young, because they've been winning.
Right. And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now what you're hoping is that Flaherty gets the out here. It's 2 runs, and then he settles in and gives you 5 or 6 innings.
There's a famous Sinatra song, kind of obscure but famous enough, called "Blame It on My Youth," and the Cardinals have not had to blame it on their youth thus far this year, because their youth has. What's your line about the Cardinals have the same pitching staff that they had in Memphis a month and a half ago?
The starting 5 at the beginning of the season in Memphis is here.
Yeah. It's really amazing when you think about it.
And a strikeout for Flaherty, back-to-back Ks. And we'll see if he gets settled in. 2-0 after 1. Games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Cardinals wherever you go. Last couple of days, Marcell Ozuna heating up. And then last night, that's from Washington. Home runs number 19 and 20 for Marcell Ozuna. Cardinals first 3 struck out to start the game. It was the 7th career 2-home run game for Marcell Ozuna.
And the 2nd for the Cardinals.
Into shallow center, Victor Reyes with the catch, and there's one away. Think about some of the big names that have come and gone here for Detroit and their pitching staff: Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Rick Porcello, David Price, Anibal Sanchez.
How about the Bird back in the 70s? Mark Fidrich.
Now he was something.
Bird is the word. Was he colorful?
And on a night that they celebrate 68, Lolich, 3 complete games against the Cardinals.
I've said this before, but Roger Maris told us in August that Dennis McLain, who was on his way to winning 31 that year, said that McLain won't be the problem when we face him in the World Series. It'll be Lolich. And did Roger turn out to be prescient?
Out of play. 0-2 on Paul DeYoung. Hitting .228 with 16 home runs, and he's driven in 51. Cardinals starting play. Woke up this morning 5.5 games out in the Central. And that's tap foul. Game and a half back in Milwaukee in the wild card. 0-2 on the Cardinals shortstop.
Right now, I think, Dan, unless the Cardinals become even hotter than they've been, and the Cubs 5.5 games in front, you have to realistically look at the wild card and hope to maintain being very close behind Milwaukee, because you've got the Dodgers.
Our Lowe's whole team together, the best record in the National League. Chicago, Milwaukee, then St. Louis. 1-2. Cardinals will see the Dodgers for 4 coming up at Busch Stadium. Still have to go to Atlanta, then finish up on the road in Chicago. So after tomorrow, only 6 road games left. As DeYoung sends one out to deep right field, Castellanos backing up to make the catch. 2 outs, and the batter is Jairo Munoz. Bottom line is, it's fun. 2 months ago, not many saw this happening with the Cardinals.
Nobody saw it happening.
Munoz lined out a couple of times last night and takes ball 1.
I think with that said, nobody saw it coming. I think the younger players were brought up for a different reason. They were brought up for schooling, experience in the major leagues, put some things together, maybe 1 or 2 have a good 2 months. But the Cardinals surprised everybody by winning and winning and winning.
Also necessity, too.
Necessity, certainly.
Some injuries along the way. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Munoz. Out in front, and it's 1-2.
You got to start off every year saying that, you know, everybody, every team, every organization's got to deal with injuries of some kind, some more than others. If he gets injured, gets out, put somebody else in there. Nature of the game.
1-2 the count. Tim mentioned that Adam Wainwright will go Monday night. The Pirates will be in town. Tomorrow it's John Gant and Michael Fulmer here in Detroit. 2-2. Jim will have an update on the health of Jed Jerko, not with the club right now here in Detroit. Cardinals giving Colton Wong, at least for the moment, an off day. So Munoz getting the start at second base as he drives it in the gap in left center, and it's down for a base hit. On his way to second with a 2-out double and the first hit of the night for the Cardinals.
And the one guy through thick and thin all year that has produced is Munoz. Again, a 2-strike hit. You get 2 strikes on Munoz, he's got you where you want, where he wants you. And that really has been the case all year.
So with 2 outs, it's Bader. 10 home runs. He's driven in 30 and a .276 average. Inside, but he catches the corner, and it's 0-2.
I don't think I've ever seen, in my experience, a home plate umpire named Addition. His name behind the plate, Ryan Addition.
0-2 pitch, and that's in the dirt. Crew chief Bill Welke, Lance Barrett, Tony Randazzo. 1-2 the count on The center fielder Harrison Bader. John Paul Morosi, who you'll see him on MLB Network and also Fox Sports in the national games. He was in the booth before. Based out of Detroit, and had a nice long conversation with Bader. He said he might be the most confident player in baseball. And we both said, well, it's confidence and maybe a little cockiness, but kind of guy that looks at his game, and why not? He might be the best defensive center fielder in the game right now.
Yeah, that's right. You love his confidence. And people say that with a surprise, you know. What else are you supposed to be?
Just off the plate. 2-2. Well, you're in the big leagues. It's the best in the world. And you're one of the best at what you do in center.
That's right. Already.
He's still learning the league and the hitters and his own pitchers. Things that go into that. And a strikeout of Bader. 4 already for Matthew Boyd. The Cardinals straying a runner, and it's 2-0. The reason behind it, let's check in with Jim.
Well, Kolten Wong has been getting a ton of attention, deservedly so, for his defense. Last night, Kolten in the starting lineup for the first time since his DL, and it was more of the same. 2 game-saving defensive plays in the 7th. One, a diving stop on Victor Martinez with 2 out and the bases loaded. Kolten told me after the game the credit goes to Jose Oquendo. Wong was playing deep on Martinez. Wong said he was deep because Oquendo had moved him back before the previous pitch. As Wong put it, that guy Oquendo is a genius about baseball, period. And Dan Wong not in the starting lineup tonight. That was part of the plan heading into the series. He will be back in the starting lineup tomorrow.
And I mentioned it earlier that you'd have an update on Jed Jerko, and there's a strikeout. 3 in a row now for Jack Flaherty. What do you have on Jed?
Jed was sent back to St. Louis for additional treatment. Jed has a groin issue. Mike Schultz said that Jed probably wouldn't have played in this series anyway, so they sent him back to St. Louis to start working on some things. They anticipate next week a return for Jed, Dan.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Lugo now the batter after the strikeout of Flaherty. Last 3 hitters, 3 strikeouts, and he's pumping strikes.
The one thing catchers can help pitchers out with, and when you tell them something that's sensible and quick, something like stay compact, be more compact, that really hits home, I found, with young pitchers in particularly, because then they can get everything together, like the front shoulder, don't pull out of there, and stay on top of the ball. Everything's compact.
Here's a 1-1. Off the glove of Wisdom. And with one out, Lugo reaches.
That's a ball that Patrick normally fields. We'll see how it's being scored. Tough play.
And that'll be an error. He was playing in, and an error on Wisdom with one out, and the batter is Victor Reyes.
Sometimes that playing in creates an error.
Here's Reyes. We saw his speed last night. He can really get down the line. Cardinals own 10 walk-off wins, tied with Milwaukee, most in baseball. Last night, their 8th walk-off loss, and that was the 6th time, or rather the 6th most in Major League Baseball. 8 walk-off losses. A fastball. The pitch that got hit out was 102.1 miles per hour. Jordan Hicks.
But high. But still 102 miles an hour. Still got to doff your cap to the guy who hit it.
I think what it also shows you is that, you know, if you can barrel it up, Hicks provides a lot of the power. You know?
Sure.
There was. And over the wall in left. And a walk-off homer.
Yeah, that's one of those flat fastballs that just lays there for the left-handed hitter.
Cardinals went 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Lose the series opener. And under Mike Schilt, they've done that 3 different times in series, but then won the next 2. Little flare out to shallow left and a base hit. Drops in.
I'll tell you, if I'm even on a ball hit that shallow, if I'm the Detroit Tigers, I challenge everything that's even minutely challengeable on balls hit to left field. But of course, this is the first time they played the Cardinals. So they don't realize how poor the arm is for Ozuna. As you said last night, it's slightly better, but still, for the most part, when in doubt, try to take the extra base and make him throw you out.
Candelario at the plate. Runners at first and second with one out. And strike one. Those of you that have just joined us, a little different look to the Cardinal uniform, a throwback to 1968. We're celebrating the 68 championship team. Popped up. Infield fly, and Wisdom the catch. Out number 2, we turn to Tim McCarver's Toyota key to the game.
Depend on Flaherty and his consistency. But tonight, a rough start for Jack, and Cardinal fans are not used to seeing that out of the 22-year-old right-hander. Seems to have it a little bit more together here in the second.
And a strike to Jim Adducci. His father played for the Cardinals, then went on to play in Milwaukee. Teammates with Ricky Horton. Fouled back, and it's 0-2.
Couple of booths over, we're looking at John Rooney with the play-by-play on KMOX radio, and Ricky Horton to his left. Michael Claiborne also sitting on the second tier.
And the runners advance now to second and third.
Now that first ball that got by Pena you could understand. You can't understand that. That's a ball that's got to be kept out in front. It's a breaking ball. You go down with the breaking ball. You anticipate it. You anticipate blocking this ball.
Tim, how about blocking a slider specifically? You did it with Carlton and Gibson, and we know about Flaherty.
Same thing. With breaking balls, you're going down with the bit. You look for the balls to come up predictably. The spin of the ball, as an example, from a right-handed batter, if the ball goes in the dirt, you attack the ball from the left, and the other way. For a left-handed pitcher like Carlton's slider, if the ball's in the dirt, it'll hit and go to your right. So you get used to that, like that. Use your protector. Those balls, don't try to catch those balls, and that's what Francisco did with that first ball in the dirt.
2-2 the count on Adducci.
The point is, predict a breaking ball to go down in the dirt and go down with it.
It's fouled back. So 5 left-handed batters, 4 of which are switch hitters that Flaherty is dealing with tonight. Teams will try to do that to neutralize maybe the slider a bit. Tough on righties, obviously. Can be tough on lefties too. Runners at second and third with 2 outs, and the 2-2 pitch. Castellanos at the on-deck circle. Tony La Russa always used to say there's one guy he would point to every game. This guy won't beat me. I'm not going to get it to this guy, and it's really the man on deck. Castellanos has had a very good year for Detroit. Don't want to see him come up with the bases loaded. The 3-2 pitch. Hit out of play again.
One thing through the first 2 innings, one time through the lineup, the Tigers are doing a very good job of 2 strikes fouling balls off. It normally doesn't happen to Flaherty. He can put away guys very, very well.
Three-2, and again fouled off. Walk 2 in the first inning. Tigers picked up 2. They did have a hit this inning. They have a single. Also, Lugo reached on an air. He's got a strikeout and a pop out. Pitch number 10 coming up in this at bat. And the pitch count already at 48 to get 5 outs. Strikeout number 4, 2 in the inning, and Detroit strands a pair. 2-0 as we head to the third. Service project on September 15th, and you can help. For details and to volunteer, visit missioncontinues.org. Wisdom, Pena, and Carpenter 8-9-1. Strike one underway here in the top of the third.
Matthew Boyd, pretty impressive. 6 of 8 first pitch strikes. That sure lessens the load when a pitcher can do that.
1-2. He's had a good breaking ball. Last 4 home starts, Boyd has an ERA of .72.
You throw first pitch strikes, you could show that breaking ball. Kind of tough to do when it's ball 1. Now you try the curveball of the slider and you miss. Now you're in real trouble.
Inside corner and a strikeout of Wisdom. Some plate umpire has been giving that corner to the pitcher, not the outside portion of the plate to a right-handed batter.
That ball strike.
So 5 strikeouts and Francisco Pena. And there's ball 1.
Time pitching inside, Dan, with 2 strikes, that's the best time to do it, because the better the hitter, the more often you do it. Reason for that, the good hitters protect away with 2 strikes. That's why they're vulnerable inside.
1 ball and 1 strike on Francisco Pena.
Joe Torre, Joe Torre could really analyze the pitcher, and one of his great sayings was, never let a pitcher get you out away with 2 strikes.
The 1-2. Boyd struck out the side in the first. Strikeout number 4 back in the second with a runner at second base. That ended that threat for the Cardinals. Wisdom called out on strikes. And the 2-2 to Pena. Fouled back. Two took some off it. That's 6 strikeouts of the 9 that he's faced. Follow the race to the postseason on MLB.tv. $25.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Limited time offer for $25.99. MLB.tv. Carpenter started the game, struck out swinging. Well, so far in this series, just under 12 innings, 18 strikeouts by Cardinal hitters. Saw that a bit the series against the Nationals too. Here's a 1-0.
Cardinals struck out 22 times in 3 games against Washington. A little over 7 per game average.
2-0 the count on Carpenter. The 2-1. The fly ball lifted to left. 1-2-3 go the Cardinals. Castellanos, Martinez, Goodrum coming up. 2-0 midway through 3. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Nick Castellanos to lead it off. And a grounder foul. Well, it's a lineup that's also missing Miguel Cabrera, perennial MVP candidate. So
only 189 at bats this year. Plate appearances actually for Miguel. Guy who's destined for the Hall of Fame.
Castellanos at one point top prospect for the Tigers many years ago. Part of the futures game. Eventually came up in 2013. Was a third baseman. And then they moved him to the outfield. A lot of errors at third.
Ball takes more time to get to you in the outfield.
And that bat will play. And he can hit. Out to right. O'Neill with the catch, and that's the first out here in the home half of the third.
That was a good pitch by Flaherty where you make a hitter inside out the ball. The pitch is on the inside corner and he drags the bat head through the ball. You could see that from a physics standpoint. No, you know, no barrel. It's what pitchers try to do, get hitters to drag that barrel through the strike zone instead of whipping it through the strike zone.
Victor Martinez with one out and nobody on. Sac fly, run batted in, number 52. Back in the first inning.
Jack much better over the last inning and a third, huh, Danny?
No question.
Yeah. Strike one, strike two, more compact deliveries.
And a grounder into the shift. That's Paul DeYoung, and he'll make the play for out number 2. BP, brighter picture. Jack Flaherty since August 1st. His National League ranks. ERA third best. Opponents, that's tops. 140 the average. The OPS down as well, 489. So he's a big reason the Cardinals are in this spot and had that remarkable run in August. The pitching of Jack Flaherty. And looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Here's Goodrum, the switch hitter, struck out back in the first inning.
You combine that with a guy like Austin Gomber, who won 5 games in August. Winningest pitcher in the major leagues in August.
2 balls and no strikes. Tomorrow, John Gant, Michael Fulmer. And the 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. Just the body language, a little bit of Flaherty at one point barking at a hitter, frustrated that wasn't called a strike. And a 2-out walk on 4 pitches. 3rd walk of the night. Matuk struck out back in inning number 1. Flaherty with 4 tonight. He's allowed a total of 2 hits, but the Cardinals trail 2-0.
One thing about the American League, because of the designated hitter, it's not a runner's league, but this is a good time for them to run. Goodrum at first base has 11 steals. He's been caught 3 times.
Now, there are a couple of teams, though, now in the American League that stand out with their speed and athleticism. Houston, the Red Sox, Cleveland, they like to run. That's hit out of play. Boston started today with an 8.5 game lead. They were playing host to Houston at Fenway. Cleveland running away with the American League Central and the only team above the 500 mark in the AL Central. Cleveland 80-61. The next closest, Minnesota, 64-76.
12 under. Wow. So the wild card will probably not come from the American League Central.
Wouldn't think so.
No. I'll tell you, a dangerous team heading into the wild card is Oakland.
Dangerous in the West. They're only 3.5 out.
That's right. Double duty. They're tough.
Good to see that Stephen Piscotty has had a solid year for the A's. Not great, but very solid. That time is called. I mentioned how Flaherty can get frustrated. He gets hot sometimes. Teams know that. They look at the video and you see it in his starts. 2-3 times his start. He's right about ready to deliver. Batter calls time. You know, just to get under his skin a little bit. He's got an edge to him. Held on to by Pena, and the strikeout. That's 5 tonight for Jack Flaherty.
That's a good way to handle that edge.
Send him to the dugout.
Right.
Martinez coming up when we come back. through his age 40 season, Tim, and that's not till 2023. Miguel Cabrera is being paid $30 million a year.
It's okay.
It's 5 more years at least $30 million.
3 players are making 65% of the money on the Tiger roster.
Man, oh man. 0-1 pitch is popped up.
Jordan Zimmerman, Miguel Cabrera, and Victor Martinez are making $65 million. The rest of the roster, that includes 22 players, is making $39 million. Bit of a disparity there.
I would say so.
Yes.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Martinez.
A lot better than the old days. The old days meaning from 1945 to 1967, when Marvin Miller took over the Players Association. The minimum salary of a Major League Baseball player was $6,000 a year. For 22 years that lasted.
Martinez strikes out, and that's now 7 on the night for Matthew Boyd, who's allowed just 1 hit. I'd say the strikeouts have to be a little concerning. This isn't just one game. This is a trend now that's starting to take place here with the Cardinals. There's Tyler O'Neill, struck out back in the first inning. And there's strike 1.
Let's see, if swings like that early in the count, you could understand a swing like that with 2 strikes, where you're fooled on the ball. You're too far out in front. It's not that you strike out. Sometimes it's how you strike out.
So the curveball, then the fastball there on that previous pitch.
There's that couplet, you know, curveball, fastball. It's always a good. Caught me right in the middle of things right there. That one. Curveball,
right
fastball, fastball. 8 strikeouts now.
And it brings in Ozuna, fly to center. That was one of the things that we saw initially with the Cardinals, the changeover in the coaching staff. Strikeouts were cut down considerably. Mark Budaska and George Greer, the hitting coaches.
Mark, affectionately known as Buddha, and Buddha put a stop to the strikeouts there for a while, but it's rearing its ugly head again.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Marcell Ozuna, and he hits it out of play. Kia drive to success. Numbers on Ozuna since the break. An emphasis on not striking out, putting the ball in play. There's Mark Budaska. And he strikes out the side. That's 9 through 4 innings. Children's Hospital and Washington University Physicians, Guardians of Childhood. And by Toyota, let's go places. That ties, by the way, Boyd's career high for strikeouts in a game.
And it's the 4th inning. Whew. Que pasa?
9 tonight. 7, 8, and 9 for Jack Flaherty to deal with. I'm sure there are some that are saying, why are the Tigers wearing a road uniform tonight and the Cardinals in their home whites? And the reason is, in 1968, Game 7 was played at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. So they're celebrating the championship and that particular ball game. That's why the Cardinals are in their home whites, and there's the first out.
No, I did not know that, partner. Thank you. Honestly, I did not know that.
I like these throwback uniforms the Cardinals have on tonight. I like the shorter sleeves, the Tigers showing the stirrup. Older look, and I enjoy that.
The only thing that counts is a score, partner.
Well, that's true, too.
I'm only kidding.
Well, hey, you're in it for wins and losses, right?
That's the name of the game.
On a hop to Munoz, 2 down. That's off the bat of Lugo.
You think of how many outs now with these shifts are outs instead of plays, and we've talked about it many times. There are so many different approaches as far as the shifts are concerned, and the biggest thing for me is that the shifts have taken away the middle of the field.
No question.
And when we were kids or signing a professional contract, the one thing, that's how we took batting practice. Keep the shoulder closed, hit the ball up the middle, and during the game, the hands will take care of the rest. If the shoulder's in proper position and the ball's inside, then your hands will open up the shoulder. But now, the ball up the middle is an out. And I find that very disconcerting, and I don't know how to.
It's a fair ball off the bag, it looked like, and then off Carpenter. So base hit for Reyes, his 2nd of the night.
Of course, the shift has nothing to do with a hit like that, but I don't know how to correct that particular thing as far as hitters are concerned. This ball hit hard down the left field line. I think it did hit the bag. Fortunately for the Cardinals, had it not hit the bag, it's a double probably. Or an out.
And the top of the lineup now, Candelario. And a strike.
Here's a good shot at that ball, and it hit the inside part of the bag and then hit Carpenter on the left knee and bounded near the tarp, preventing the hitter from going to second base. Again, a good running situation for a guy like Reyes. 9 stolen bases in 10 tries.
So 2 outs, runner at first. Candelario scored on a wild pitch. He walked his first time up, also popped out with 2 runners on. And a slightly bigger lead here. 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike.
He's got a bigger lead, but he's not even with the bag with second base. He's back in the runner's path to second. See right there, Lou Brock used to talk about the best way to steal a base is closest thing between 2 points is a straight line. And if he were to steal second base, it wouldn't be a straight line getting there. That, and don't lead off of first base or any bag really with your hands on your knees, and you see that more and more with base runners, because if you have your hands on your knees in order to run, you have to take them off your knees, unless you have a weird way of running. Huh. Huh, Dan?
Well, sure.
Thanks for picking me up.
I'm listening. I'm just taking it all in.
You know, you see how far back he is? You know, there are 2 outs, so going from first to third not as important now. But he should be in the line, which is closer from first to second.
What about getting back to the back portion of the bag, diving back in?
You can do that. That's not a problem.
The 2-1 pitch, fouled back.
We had a one-way lead there. He was more concerned getting back to first than going to second.
My only thought would be that with a right-handed throwing first baseman, he's going to have to reach, so the tag is going to give that split second more if you're to the back of the bag. Left-handed tag a little bit quicker.
Now you can reach the back of the bag if you were even with the second base bag and running, but he's too far out toward right field.
2 balls and 2 strikes, and that's pulled foul.
A guy who can run can influence the entire offense.
No doubt.
When Lou Brock was with the Cardinals, Lou is second all time in stolen bases. Ricky Henderson first. But when Lou played with the Cardinals, he influenced everybody to run the bases better. Everybody.
Think about too, and what it does to a pitcher. Speeding up things.
Oh, sure.
Lack of location.
Yeah.
Balls that are up because you're forced to what you think to be quicker. It's a big lead at first base. The 2-2 pitch. He's running here, and it's hit down the left field line and slices foul and out of play. Mentioned it last night for those who did not hear, but Lou back traveling and started to do some work outside St. Louis, so that means he's feeling much better, and that's great news for all of us. Talk about Bob Gibson always watching our games. Lou doesn't miss many either.
No. Lou does a call, however, when you make a comment like Bob does.
First thing Bob said to me, I'm going to start texting you more during games. And then, oh, here we go. The 2-2 could have gone either way.
Well, the reason he didn't get this pitch is the catcher moved from the inside to the outside part of the plate. When you cross the plate, you're not going to get a strike call.
Off with this pitch on 3-2. And a fly ball out to shallow center. Coming in, Bader broke back, and it drops in for a hit. And a run will score because of it. A rare mistake by Bader. 3-0 Tigers.
He didn't pick that ball up soon enough.
His initial reaction was going back too.
Yeah. I mean, we are in the gloaming, which is when fly balls are very tough to read. Number one, Harrison's playing too deep in this ballpark. Guy who can run was the guy on first base, and he scores rather easily without a play. That is a rare mistake by Harrison Bader. And Jeimer Candelario is on first base. How can that happen? Guy goes from first to home, and the guy who hit the ball's at first base.
Bought enough food for the entire section? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Well, so far a very frustrating night for Jack Flaherty. First inning, walked a pair, gave up 2 runs, and should be out of this inning. Also, there was an error back in the second. That extends a pitch count. Cardinals are careful with the 22-year-old. Now up to 76. And they've got somebody up and throwing just in case right now. It's Daniel Ponce de Leon. He's got 6 days of rest under his belt. So he would give the Cardinals some security, you would think, in this game in terms of length, if they need it. And there's Daniel. 3-0 Tigers. Adducci at the plate. He had a 10-pitch at bat, struck out back in the second. Also singled and scored in the first. That's hit out of play, 0-2, which is what he did time and again, fouling a pitch off from Jack Flaherty. 78 pitches now. Cardinals have struck out 9 times tonight. They've got DeYoung, Munoz, and Bader coming up. And the 0-2 struck him out. And for Jack Flaherty, strikeout number 6. 3-0 as we head to the 5th. Here's Paul DeYoung. 3-0 our score. First pitch swinging into shallow right field. Castellanos with the catch. Take a look at the night for Boyd, and Built for Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. He has matched his career high in strikeouts for a game with 9, and we're only in the 5th.
Offensively, defensively, and from pitching, this is one of the worst games that Mike Shildt has had as the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. Wouldn't you say, Dan?
I'd say it's still early.
Okay. Up to now, I mean, I'm not predicting the future, but up to now, it has been a tacky performance.
If you had a wild pitch, air, a lot of strikeouts in the lineup. I'm sure for so many fans that are tuned in tonight, Tim, they see these uniforms and it takes them back to their childhood. I mean, these are cool uniforms. I know I keep harping on it. I like these unis.
I might get you one just for the heck of it.
I would love that.
Would you?
I would. There's a 1-1 pitch to Munoz.
Wear it on the charter tomorrow.
That'd be fine. I'll do it. I see what other people are wearing. I'll fit right in. Nice catch made by Lugo.
He didn't make that catch. Munoz has another double. Think about it. Lugo goes a long, long way, and that's a fair ball. Good play.
I'd say if you guys would have won in '68 with the names that you had on that roster, which included you, 64, 67, 68, goes down as a dynasty and one of the greatest teams ever in the history of baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yes, I do. That would be world champions in 3 of 5 years.
Yeah.
We were world champions in 2 of 5, beating the Yankees in '64, the Red Sox in '67.
Brock, Gibson, Flood, Cepeda, Maris. Big names. Just a thought. Not to rub it in, but I've got one of the greats next to me, so I got to bring it up.
Well, no, you don't.
Well, I'm sorry then.
You could hand me a message or something. Keep it off the airwaves.
A few months ago, we were at dinner, and I talked about you coming to Detroit. You said, this might be kind of tough for me.
Yeah, well, I was just kind of thinking that, but it hasn't been. I mean, a couple of exclamations of remorse. Crying in my hotel rooms. These things happen.
Didn't sleep last night. You haven't eaten in 3 days. But other than that, it's been a blast. The 2-2. And Bader hits it out to deep left field. Matuk back at the wall. He's got it. An incredible play in left field to Rob Harrison Bader. What a catch. And he takes a home run away.
He caught that ball like there were no fence there. Watch.
Number 5, great play made by the Tigers left fielder Mike Matuk, and the Cardinals left fielder is Marcell Ozuna. With more on him, let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, Dan, Marcell had been crushing the baseball coming into tonight's game. 4 homers over his last 3 games, 7 over his last 12. Mark Budaska told me you can see Ozuna's shoulder is feeling better because he's getting better extension when he swings. I talked to Ozuna. He told me his shoulder is feeling better, but there is still some pain. As he put it, I still have some work to do. Ozuna and that right shoulder better, Dan, not 100%.
Better, but not 100%. On a hop to short. Nice play here by Paul DeYoung. Takes a hit away from Castellanos. Boy, that's a good play.
Was. Usually it's much easier to move to your left when you make a play like this. But DeYoung froze it. And he goes back on the ball because he had to make the hop easier. Good play by Paul DeYoung.
Here's Victor Martinez. Martinez with an RBI back in the first, and that pitch taken low. Also grounded into the shift.
I'll tell you a guy whose teeth are like razor blades right now. Harrison Bader in the same inning. He missed the ball in center field and then has the left fielder rob him of a potential home run.
It's a frustrating
the next half inning. Yeah. Very frustrating, and I'll guarantee you, knowing Bader as we do, he's livid right now.
3-0. Way this game is gone, the pitch count 85. Depends if it's a quick fifth inning for Flaherty, but this might be it for him. We'll see. That will not help. 1 out walk, and his 4th walk of the night issued. '13 NL Championship Mystery Ring is September 15th. And you can get your ring at cardinals.com/promotions. Saturday, September 15th, and the Dodgers will be in town. 1 out walk in Nico Goodrum, who was struck out and walked on the night. That's now 6 straight balls.
Well, there are 2 things about major league players. You have to learn how to win. You have to learn how to lose and gain knowledge from both. As an example, if you lose and you learn from it, and the depth of your learning is bad, I guess that's true for business or anything, then it's worth the loss. Might be rationalization, but so what?
Up the middle and caught by DeYoung.
I mean, is that fair? I see you.
No, I think
me
it's
a
fair.
Dissenting look.
No, not at all.
No.
I don't.
No, I know that. I'm only kidding.
Always behind you, Tim.
Oh,
always.
I know that.
Yeah.
No, I do know that. Yes.
So I'm just taking it all in. You've been
not all broadcasters are like that either.
No, they're not. Matuk with 2 strikeouts, but has taken a home run away. It's the classic uniform of no names on the back, too, with the Tigers.
Playable.
Carpenter with the catch. We played 5. 3-0 here at Comerica Park. 1968 World Series pitcher comparison with Bob Gibson and Denny McLain. Many of their greats back on hand. It was Al Kaline there at the final shot we just showed you, but the comparison with Bob Gibson and Denny McLain. 1968, both won the MVP and Cy Young Award in that year. Denny McLain here tonight. Here's Patrick Wisdom, fouled back for strike one. Cardinals have 9 strikeouts in their lineup and 1 hit. That was a double by Munoz back in the second inning. 10 in a row set down by this lefty.
Matthew Boyd looking more like the Boyd that played Hopalong Cassidy. William Boyd was that character. You remember Hopalong Cassidy?
Hopalong Cassidy. Well, I'll put it this way, Tim. I didn't think Hopalong Cassidy when I was looking at Matthew Boyd.
Struck out 9. Only 1 hit through 5.
He's 1 strikeout or 1 strike away from 10, which would be a career high. And Wisdom puts it in play. And there's 1 away.
With the exception of Harrison Bader's near home run, were it not for Mike Matuk, the left fielder. One other ball hit fairly well, and that was Jairo Munoz for the double.
That's been it.
Yeah.
Francisco Pena struck out back in the 3rd. And strike 1. It's been in and out. He's taken speeds off his curveball, pitching ahead.
Strike 1. That's huge.
He's only got 71 pitches, and there it is. Only 21 balls of the 71 thrown tonight.
Yeah, you throw strike 1, and that gives you a chance to keep your pitch count down. It's common sense.
He's also gotten some of the calls that Flaherty hasn't because strike 1 and been around the plate.
Excellent point. Well put. I mean, Matthew Boyd has not had a 3-ball count yet. That'll shave off a few pitches.
No question. The 1-2 pitch to Pena. Outfield straightaway and a 2-2 pitch. Check swing. He went. Strikeout number 10. And that's 12 in a row and a new career high in strikeouts.
Francisco tried to hold up but couldn't. That bat head going through the strike zone.
Sometimes 3rd time through a lineup will dictate what happens the rest of the game. And here it is, 3rd time through a lineup. Let's see what kind of at bats the Cardinals can put up. And a strike on the outside corner. Carpenter 0 for 2. He struck out and also fly to left field. Shift on the right side and the 0-1 pitch. Big sweeping curveball. Nothing in 2.
Matt has not seen that pitch tonight. Breaking balls have been hard sliders away. That looping curveball freezes him.
Now time called. Struck him out with a fastball. Back-to-back Ks. John Gant and Michael Fulmer will come your way at 11:30. Jim Hayes has all the news of the day at the top of the show. So we wrap up the road trip in Game 3 here in Detroit. Cardinals go to the bullpen, Daniel Ponce de Leon, so it's another rookie who has made some starts and coming out of the bullpen now. There's Chevy called to the pen. It's been a while, 6 days of rest, so should be plenty rested. This appearance for Ponce de Leon.
Put the house back in order and play a 3-inning game and try to at least tie it with 3 runs over the last 3 frames.
I mean, it's only 3-0.
That's right.
But when you don't hit, it looks like 10-0.
It looks lopsided, doesn't it? Yeah.
And the Cardinals have struck out 11 times and have just 1 base hit tonight. 2 balls and no strikes on Grayson Greiner, so 7, 8, and 9 in the Detroit lineup. Greiner has struck out and also grounded out to short. The 2-0 pitch to Greiner. 3-0.
20 years ago, a guy like Matthew Boyd, a manager wouldn't even consider taking him out of a game. Not even close. 3-0 lead, striking out 11. 4 straight balls from Ponce de Leon.
And the Cardinals now have combined to issue 5 walks in the game. And it brings in Lugo, reached on an air and also grounded out to second. There's a strike. Daniel's done a nice job. Remarkable story we've documented, coming back from being hit by a pitch on his head. This time last year, throwing out a ceremonial first pitch before a Memphis playoff game. His season was cut short by many, many months. Takes guts, and I give him all the credit in the world.
Oh, man. Talk about courage. Had to have immediate surgery, right?
That's right. Pressure on the brain. So literally had brain surgery, and scary moments. Diving stop at third, and they'll get the lead man. That's all they'll get. A fine play down at third base by Patrick Wisdom.
That's a good play, and having the wherewithal to, once he got up, to take his time making the throw to second base, realizing the double play is gone. Couldn't get the ball out of his glove quickly enough, and even had he done that, you're not going to get a guy who runs like Lugo.
Victor Reyes, switch hitter, 2 for 2. Reyes hit one off the bag at first base and then came around to score on a ball that was misplayed by Bader in center on a 3-2 pitch, and 2 outs. He was off with that pitch and scored from first base. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And he would not have scored had he not been off with the pitch.
And so you're talking about then a 2-0 game instead of 3-0.
Right. Big difference.
Yeah. And the 1-1 hit to Carpenter, out there, back to first, and it's a double play.
Very nice.
3-6-1 on the double play. Sends us to the 7th. 3-0 our score. Celebrates home run number 62. So you see right there, Cardinals.com/promotions to get your tickets. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. It'll be Jose Martinez, Tyler O'Neill, Marcell Ozuna. 11 strikeouts for Matthew Boyd, and he's retired 13 in a row. Martinez 0 for 2.
Time for the Cardinals to show their mettle, partner.
The top 3, 7 at bats, 6 strikeouts.
Ooh.
Carpenter, Martinez, O'Neill. 1 hit. That's Munoz back in inning number 2. Now the Cardinals, though, have shown at times under Mike Shildt propensity to come back in these games.
"11 strikeouts. The Cardinals, I guess you could say they bunched their strikeouts tonight.
And a swing and a miss. That's hit out of play. And Martinez hits a fly ball out to center. "14 in a row."
Yeah, the Cardinals with 1 base runner. Great defensive play by the left fielder, Mikey Tug. With that play he made of a ball hit by Harrison Bader over the fence and made the catch.
And O'Neill skies one out to left field. Matuk there under it. Much easier play this time in left. 15 in a row. Final Academy Sports and Outdoors autograph nights coming up. That's Tuesday. Francisco Pena will sign autographs for fans 15 and under. Former Cardinals Greg Matthews, David Green will sign for fans of all ages in the Budweiser Terrace at Busch Stadium. For details, visit Cardinals.com/promotions. Marcell Ozuna 0 for 2. And ball 1.
You haven't said that much tonight.
No. Only 86 pitches. The way he's going, this might be all Matthew Boyd tonight.
I mean, he is Koufaxian tonight.
Popped up into shallow center. 10-pitch inning, 16 in a row. Time to stretch. House, plus a round trip to Springfield to meet the AA Cardinals, all coming up tomorrow at 11. Cardinals Insider right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Second inning now for Daniel Ponce de Leon.
Good curveball. Wow. Might be the best curveball he's thrown this year in a Cardinal uniform.
Candelario at the plate, top of the lineup for the Tigers. Ducci to follow, then Castellanos. Tigers with 2 runs in the first, 1 in the fourth. And the thing is, the Cardinals have 1 hit. The Tigers have 4. That's it. They've received, though, 5 walks.
5 walks, right. And the story of this game is that Harrison Bader misplayed a ball in center field, and that gives you an idea of what this game has been like, because Cardinal fans are not used to seeing those types of things happen.
Broke back on a ball that was in shallow center, then had to come in and dive for it. Dropped in, runner at first on a 3-2 pitch, 2 outs, scored. That made it 3-0. And the 2-2 in the dirt, full count. Candelario walked and scored on a wild pitch. Popped out and an RBI single. It was his single in front of Bader that scored. Victor Reyes back in inning number 4. 3-2 pitch. Got him. Took something off it and a strikeout.
That was a good changeup from Ponce de Leon. You saw a good curveball there during that sequence. Good changeup from Daniel.
That's what we saw when he made his debut as against Cincinnati, and with left-handed batters neutralized them with a very good changeup. He's got a good one. His last time out, a start, not nearly as effective as we've seen him at various times this year. Ducci is 1 for 3. That's it out of play.
I'll tell you, Dan, if Cincinnati goes out and gets some pitching,
oh man,
this team can play a good lineup that could score runs.
Talking with a scout today about that.
Really?
Mentioned the lineup of the Reds, and he said, boy, if they had any pitching whatsoever, they'd be in the hunt. And this
Suarez is one of the best players in the National League.
Tim, if they're in contention, he's one of the MVP candidates.
Yeah, absolutely. Over 100 RBIs last week.
Ooh, quickly to first, and they just get a Ducci. 2 outs, and Castellanos with nobody on and 2 outs. Yeah, any pitching to match the great offense that they have, and you know, may go down that they're wasting the years of Joey Votto being one of the best hitters in the history of that franchise.
So where Marty Brenneman the other day said Votto will go down as the best Cincinnati Red hitter, and you know, I haven't thought about that because you always think of Pete Rose, but I think he's right. I think Votto's better than Rose, and I never thought I would utter that.
420 on base percentage for Votto, leading the league. And by all accounts, from what we're told, if it's ever been brought up, you know, hey, if we have a chance to trade you, Votto has said, no, I want to finish my career as a Red through thick and thin. So the longevity of him.
Like 36.
Right around 35, 36. So he's got 4 or 5 more years left on that deal.
Sure.
He goes down as one of their greatest, if not the best, because of the length, and he'll be at the top of most offensive categories before it's all said and done.
Top 3 good players that are Canadian, too.
That's hit down the left field line, out of play. Ferguson, Jenkins,
our
Larry Walker.
Larry Walker.
Right.
He's our guy. And the reason is he listens to every game.
Well, I'm sure I'll have a text pretty shortly here. You guys talking about me again? My phone's blowing up, and I'm.
He can't rest.
No. That's hit back and foul.
Talk about a great guy to go along with a great player.
And he shouldn't be penalized. I've said it all the time. Can't penalize him for playing in Colorado.
No.
It's where he played, put up huge numbers.
Played Montreal too. Played in St. Louis also.
Yep. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Castellanos to center. Bader won't get that one. The 2-out hit.
That looked like a good curveball, and Candelario, I beg your pardon, Castellanos hit the top half of the ball, and it sunk immediately on Bader. He had no chance.
So 2-out base hit. Victor Martinez, RBI back in the first. Grounded out to short. It was into the shift and walked in the fifth. And there's strike one on Victor Martinez. Professional hitter.
Yes, sir.
Now 39 years of age. DH, switch hitter, slaps it the other way. Ozuna is there to make the catch. And the 8th inning rolls in when we come back. 3-0 Detroit. Can the offense get going? DeYoung, Munoz, Bader coming up. The team, and it's been shades of Mickey Lolich tonight.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Yeah. So one thing about Mickey during that series, or really all the time, he was a contact pitcher. Was not a strikeout pitcher, but made you hit the ball on the ground.
Boyd has allowed 1 hit, 11 strikeouts, a career high, set down 16 in a row. And nothing in 2. And I'm sure for Mike Schilt, to your point earlier, this has got to be one of the more frustrating games as manager for him.
On both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively.
DeYoung, Munoz, and Bader. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Hit out to deep right. Castellanos back at the wall, and maybe that gets him going. On an 0-2 pitch, a home run for Paul DeYoung, his 17th of the year. And the Cardinals get on the board.
Cardinals have a strange offense. They get out of things with solo home runs, whereas normally teams that hit solo home runs, the inning's over. You know, like after one out, usually it's like a tourniquet as far as runs are concerned, but not with the Cardinals. Cardinals get a solo home run, that wakes them up. Characteristic of their team.
Here's Munoz, who has the other Cardinal hit. Curveball misses outside. No activity yet in the bullpen for Detroit. And it's 2-0 with Bader on deck.
Ron Gardenhire's probably going on pitch count, but I'll tell you, I don't know if he had experience seeing Harrison Bader against a left-handed pitcher. He's almost homered tonight one time.
And this is out to deep left, down the line, and it's foul. And not by much.
Munoz can hit a ball as far as anybody. We talked about Stephen Piscotty earlier, coming from the trade from Oakland, and this guy can play. He can hit, he can throw, he can run.
Alex Wilson up for the Tigers now. Just got up. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. And remember, Bader earlier in the ball game had a home run taken away by Matuk in left, robbed him at the top of the wall.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, Danny, when I made that comment. Yeah.
Inside corner, Munoz didn't like it.
Yeah, Boyd got away with one there. I agree with Munoz. That ball is inside.
The first 3-ball count for Matthew Boyd tonight. 3-2 on Munoz. Carlos Martinez is throwing in the Cardinal pen. The 3-2 pitch. Little tapper foul. Our crowd tonight, 30,268. 30268. Inside, and now the tying run comes to the plate.
Gyro's probably thinking that was ball 5.
And I would agree.
2-2 pitch was inside, and so was that one.
Want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute? Get the StubHub app, and you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets up until the first pitch, or sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app. StubHub, official partner of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jorge Lopez of the Royals, a right-handed pitcher, is perfect through 6 against the Twins. That's in Minnesota. And Ron Gardenhire is going to look like take out Matthew Boyd here.
And Alex Wilson didn't have many pitches to throw in the bullpen. He got up in a hurry. But a good job by Matthew Boyd. He has every reason to smile.
For legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. So the Cardinals now with the tying run at the plate. Line on Matthew Boyd. He was terrific tonight. Here's Bader. Was robbed of a home run his last time up back in the 5th. First pitch fouled back.
Alex Wilson, a very good reliever who can pitch more than 2 innings. He's done that 35 times in his career.
It's versatility there.
Yeah.
So many times.
He almost serves as 2 guys out there.
1 inning out, 1 inning out. And a guy give you multiple innings is valuable.
That's right.
Munoz, the runner at first base, as Bader pops it back in foul. And it's 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch in the dirt.
You know, the catching position is not a position for guys who are over 6'2". And Grainer is 6'6". Can't give that low a target. It's tougher for him to move around behind the plate.
Well, that is a rarity.
Yeah, it is.
Strikeout of Bader, and now Wisdom. 12th Cardinal that is struck out.
Looked like a cutter that went away from Bader. Good pitch.
I was thinking the Cardinals may use Matt Adams in this spot.
Yeah. He would be the ideal guy, even though I was thinking about Francisco Pena. Still got Carson Kelly to catch. Yachty can't get back there because of his hamstring. There's Adams right there, kind of like a lion before dinner.
And the last time we saw him, 2 home runs. Hit down the right field line and out of play.
And the numbers and stats make sense. Against right-handed batters, Wilson has held them to a 200 average. Against left-handers, 271.
And you think about when can you get Adams in when you have the top of the lineup coming up.
Yeah.
So this might be the time to do it, but maybe Mike's waiting for another time later in the game if we get there. And the 0-2 is hit too short. Force play at second and to first, safe.
I think you almost have to use Adams right now.
No question.
Because he represents a potential tying run. No way. He was safe, Gardy.
That could loom large. There's Adams now at the on-deck circle to hit for Pena.
That's a good point, partner. He could loom very large, but he was safe.
Yep. No challenge by Detroit. And Matt Adams coming up.
That's the one thing that's been abused with that replay. And managers have 10 seconds to decide to determine whether to use that or not.
10 seconds to get the attention of the umpire.
Yeah, well.
Then 20 on top of that.
Yeah,
but the idea is supposed to be total of 30.
Yeah.
And think about re-racking it and trying to find it and get the right replay. Doesn't matter 10 or 30. I mean, it's almost too quick.
Gardner pointed at Adams saying, was he announced? The hitter has to be announced before he can be pinch hit for. So Gardenhire's going to bring in the left-hander. There's the left-hander. He pitched in last night's game, Daniel Stumpf.
So Adams coming up, 3-1 our score, representing the tying run when we come back. Hit by Paul DeYoung. StatCast AI powered by AWS. And that was the first hit for the Cardinals after 16 had been set down. Then a walk to Munoz. Wilson came in, struck out Bader. Wisdom into a forced play at second. And now Stumpf, Daniel Stumpf, or Chevy called to the pen. 50th appearance. And he will face Matt Adams. And the first pitch taken low and outside.
Talked about Matt Adams in Washington. It was that Wednesday night game where he hit 2 home runs. And that second one was launched.
Oh boy.
Ooh, baby.
He's now up to 20. And Stumpf is in for Adams and Carpenter. Carpenter on deck.
And now Matt's got a chance of choosing a fastball on a 2-0 count. It's almost like a free swing.
Adams out to center field. That ball will be caught. And racing in Reyes to make the catch. And it's designed by Fresh Brewed Teas. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. It's been 5 days since we've seen Brett Cecil. We'll get Goodrum, Matuk, and Greiner. Or Chevy call to the pen.
And also a call to the catching staff. Carson Kelly behind the plate. I think it's first game for Carson Kelly since coming back. Is that right? Or?
He's appeared in a couple innings.
Has he?
Yeah.
Has he?
And the first pitch by Cecil, taken for a ball. So different battery now here in the bottom of the 8th. Good work by Daniel Ponce de Leon out of the bullpen for St. Louis after Jack Flaherty. Gave up 1 hit in 2 innings and no runs. 3-1 our score. Taken high again. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Brett Cecil. Shane Green throwing in the Tigers' pen. Cardinals will have the top of the lineup. Carpenter, Martinez, and O'Neill. And that's a strike.
Kind of a backdoor breaking ball from Cecil. I've seen a little bit better breaking ball here in the second half.
(3-2) and a leadoff walk. Cardinals have issued 6 walks tonight. You know, with expanded rosters and the way that things have gone for Cecil, I think you got to get somebody up right now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think Mike Schilt has given Cecil every opportunity that he can in close games and what have you, but you almost have to have somebody up right now, I think, and you think.
Our view obstructed of the Cardinal bullpen, but we'll see.
Yeah, somebody's up. A right-hander's up.
Yeah, they just got up, and that's Brebbia. But you're in a 2-run game.
Yeah.
And you're running out of time.
Yeah, right.
Little chopper hit to short. Out there. That'll be an out. They will not get the double play.
That was a late slide by Nico Goodrum. A late slide that gave him a chance to get on top of Munoz, and that's what caused Gyro to drop the ball.
I think the Cardinals were thinking along those lines too, Tim, as home plate umpire went over towards Mike Schilt. See if the Cardinals wanted to take a look at it. They do not. You know, but 4 or 5 years ago, Gyro Munoz would be in shallow left.
Yeah.
You just take him out.
Yeah, the catcher is protected now on tag plays at home, and the second baseman and shortstop are protected on double play attempts around second base. Primarily because of Chase Utley and the slide in the postseason 4 years ago.
Yep.
Playing for the Dodgers.
So 1 out, runner at first. Greiner at the plate. The check swing, he did go, and there's strike 1.
Yeah, for Cecil to be effective, it's pretty clear that hitters have to swing at balls out of the strike zone. He's got to fool them with deceit.
That's a good point.
And not with stuff.
He's throwing 90, 91, so velocity was down from when the Cardinals originally signed him.
Yeah.
Saw him with the Blue Jays.
Gave him a 4-year contract.
1 ball and 1 strike.
It's tough for a guy like Brett because of his ineffectiveness, you don't want to pitch him. And if you don't pitch him, he can't get effective enough. I mean, the bullpen just doesn't do the job. You got to have game competition. Try to be as fair as you can, but it has been a real dilemma for the Cardinals and Brett Cecil.
Now, with rosters expanded, thinking of what you're talking about here, you can be a little protected because you've got more arms in the bullpen.
Right.
So
true.
You can shorten up those outings.
Yep. He really doesn't have a double play ball because he doesn't throw a sinker. So it's almost like a hitter has to swing at a changeup that's down and out of the strike zone, and major league hitters don't do that. You can't depend on that. And that, again, is one of the other things that is a real problem for Brett.
1-2 pitch in the dirt, and it's 2-2. Brebbia continues to throw in the Cardinal pen. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out and a runner at first base. A 2-run Tiger lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Just looking at this team right now for the Cardinals, and it is amazing, the youth. Carson Kelly at Memphis, better part of this year. Wisdom, third. DeYoung was in the minors beginning of last year. Munoz in the minors at second base last year. O'Neill and Bader in the minor leagues last year. That's up the middle and a base hit into center. And it's runners at first and second.
Hey, you gotta take him out right now. I mean, you got a 2-run. You're trailing by 2 runs. Tough enough in 1 inning in the 9th inning. And here comes Mike Schilt. Pretty easy right here. It's again a real dilemma, and the problems continue for Brett Cecil.
So Brebbia coming on, runners at first and second, and 1 out in a 3-1 ball game. been out hit 6-2. Runners at first and second with one out. And it's our Chevy call to the pin. Appearance number 36 for the Cardinal right-hander.
John Brebbia has won his first major league game this year. That's how dependable he is. The one thing about John, he can come into a game and get a ground ball or get a strikeout. First and second. There's heavy traffic anytime Brebbia is in the game.
Last time out, started with a clean inning, struck out the side.
That was in Washington.
So here's Lugo at the plate. Reached on an error and a couple of ground outs. And gets his ground ball out there, the turn, and it's a double play. Just like Tim said, he can get the ground ball. He does, cleans it up. The top of the order coming up. 3-1 as we head to the ninth. Shane Green is on the mound for the Tigers. And his numbers this season, 28 saves and 33 opportunities. Cardinals have Carpenter, Martinez, and O'Neill. A night in which they've had just 2 hits. Double by Munoz in the second. Home run by DeYoung back in the 8th. Shift on the right side, and the first pitch is strike. Carpenter 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts.
Cardinals trying to do in 1 inning what they've not been able to do in 8.
That's taken low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Kind of a funky breaking ball from Green, right? He featured that last night. Kind of nasty. First time we've seen him.
Carpenter has seen him before. It's been a while. 1 for 2. Two balls, 1 strike.
One thing Matt can do, he can coax a walk. But he's not hitting. He's 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of strikeouts, fly ball to left.
Tied him up 2-2. The 2-2 off the plate, full count.
Be interesting to see how many 3-2 counts Matt Carpenter has during a season. I mean, he has a ton of them. Walks a lot of 3-2 counts. Often it's the discretion of the umpire whether the ball's a strike or not.
The 3-2 pitch. Carpenter puts it in play. A diving stop. Race to the bag, and Carpenter is safe. And the tying run will come to the plate. Meducci just could not get it out of the glove.
He thought he didn't have as much time as he really had. He dives for the ball. First of all, he could have fielded that ball on his, of course, you know, these guys aren't robots. I mean, but diving for the ball, stumbling, and now he couldn't get a handle on it. I've always thought that was a strange thing, a handle on a baseball. But now the Cardinals have the tying run potentially coming up.
Runner at first, nobody out, and Jose Martinez. It's recorded a hit for Carpenter, and there's ball one.
Dan, the first time through the order tonight, we talked about Jose Martinez and how he's got to get started if the Cardinals are going to be in the postseason. I still feel like that, and right now would be the ideal time to start.
Struck out twice, fly to center, represents the tying run. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Outfield really in a no doubles defense. You don't need to do that in this ballpark because the dimensions are so deep anyway. But your center fielder Victor Reyes is in another area code.
See Martinez's reaction. He was not pleased. From 2-0, instead there it's 1-1. Short lead at first. That's taken low.
For those, you know, in baseball, it's a no doubles defense. It's like a prevent defense in football, where the outfielders in this situation play deeper than they normally would to prevent a double, because a double would put the potential tying run at second base. They don't want that.
The vicious cut by Martinez, 2-2. He's trying to tie it, and this right-hander may have gotten away with that pitch.
And we've seen Jose Martinez hit that pitch a long way.
Tyler O'Neill at the on-deck circle. 2-2 the count on Martinez. And O'Neill coming up. Oh for 3 tonight. Struck out twice, his fly to left. Oh, 1 pitch. Backing away from a fastball that's a strike, 0-2.
O'Neill's susceptible to that slider away with 2 strikes in the hole deeply here. That's a mistake by Green. One thing about a pitcher right here, if you're throwing to a powerful hitter like O'Neill, if you miss away, not over the plate. Ooh, boy. That was close. That was a little show-me fastball. He'll go back to the slider, I would imagine. Situation where if you're a pitcher, you want a guy to tie the game on your best pitch, and his best pitch is the slider.
Two and two. Boy, they are deep, deep, deep.
And Victor Reyes in center field. Woo. Right field, Nicholas Castellanos.
The 2-2. And it's up to Marcell Ozuna. Ball 1 to Ozuna. DeYoung on deck. Two home runs last night. He's been one of the hottest hitters on this trip, representing the tying run. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ozuna, a drive, deep left at the track, at the wall. It is gone, and the game is tied at 3. Just over the wall and left, Ozuna has tied it down to their final out, and we're tied 3-3.
Quite a few Cardinal fans in the stands waiting for that ball to come down, and it finally did on the other side of the fence. A hanging slider from Green. It's not that easy being Green.
I guess Ozuna with that reaction saying it's either caught or it's gone. It was gone, and we're tied. And a strike to DeYoung. And the Cardinals have come back from the dead.
You got it, brother.
A ball and a strike on Paul DeYoung.
The dandelions were being planted before that swing. Two home runs last night and a big one tonight.
Good play at short, and DeYoung is the final out in the top of the ninth. But Marcell Ozuna with home run number 21, and he's driven in 75 on the year. New game, tied 3-3. As we go to the bottom of the ninth.
Every reason to smile after this. I mean, a mile high. Was it going to be far enough? And as my partner put the exclamation point on it, yes, it was. Woo. Nice going, partner.
Barely, but just enough.
Other side of the fence.
And so Bud Norris now into the ball game. He's had 4 days off, so 4 days of rest coming into this appearance. Obviously a tough couple of days for Bud to start the month of September, but the full body of work has been very good for the most part for Bud Norris.
Absolutely. A gutty guy, and the one thing that we have noticed all year long, he's a guy who says, give me the ball. And when a pitcher does that, that's all you want, because all of them are not like that.
Three our score. Bottom of the ninth, as the Tigers were 1 out away from taking game 2 of the series. Here's Reyes, and he looks at a ball. Two balls, no strikes. Two and one.
The one thing about Bud Norris, part of his success is hitters can't go up there and say, what kind of pitcher is he? Sinker, slider. He's not sinker, slider. He's sinker, funky pitch, or funky pitch, fastball. There's nothing predictable about his style of pitching.
And Reyes lines it foul and out of play.
He's almost exactly the way he's kind of painted. He's a starter in a reliever's role. or a starter in a reliever's body.
Two. On to play again.
Bud was such a starter. I mean, last year was his first time with success as a closer. He had 19 saves for the Angels. Prior to that, for the most part, he was a spot starter on teams, in the rotation occasionally when he was younger.
And that pitch outside. Certainly thinking no walks in this spot. The 3-2 pitch. Grounded past Carpenter and off his glove. It was a fair ball. This young man can fly. That's Reyes on his way to second. He'll stop there.
Well, that not only went off looked like the left wrist of Matt Carpenter, but after the ball caromed down toward what used to be the bullpen in this ballpark. I think it came up right there. Nope, hit him on the thumb of the glove. Wasn't a tricky hop. I mean, it was a predictable hop, it looked like. And Reyes can fly. Thought about third with nobody out, properly stayed at second.
So it's an error on Carpenter. He had a couple of the other night in Washington.
One is a third baseman, one is a first baseman in the same game.
Here's Candelario with the big hit last night. Now Kelly calls time.
I mean, why wouldn't you walk Candelario right here? Top of the order, Candelario, Aducci, Castellanos. Of course, Candelario only a .229 hitter coming into the game. First base open. You do not have to give him a good pitch to hit.
Good play by Kelly.
Good backhand play by Kelly. It's hard.
Wow.
It's hard to do that with a catcher's mitt. Quick hands.
Well, we talked about the defense of the Tigers in their position, where a lead with 2 runs, playing so deep, and in this particular spot with the speed of Reyes, the outfield has got to play in to have any shot.
Exactly.
Two and one.
Might be a situation right here where when you get a right-handed hitter up there, to think about taking Ozuna out of the game and replacing him with a better arm.
2-1 pitch. 2-2.
I think you're less inclined to do that with a left-handed hitter up, because most left-handers can't, go the other way as well as they could pull the ball. If you get a right-hander in there, any ball hit the left field, you could just count on Reyes scoring. Center field, a different story.
2-2, kept in front by Kelly. Full count. Well, you don't have to give in on this pitch right here. If you walk him, you walk him.
Right. Hope he swings at a bad ball.
Three-two, and he missed. So the first two have reached here in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, the one thing you don't do, and Mike Schilt rarely comes to the mound to talk strategy, but this is strategy. Not going to take Norris out of the game. I was going to say that in the American League, you don't have sacrifices. I think with nobody out right here, just play your infield normally and play for a double play. In other words, bring your third baseman way in, keep your shortstop on the bag, and play for two on a bunt.
Showing bunt. Wisdom to first to get the out. Runners at second and third. Castellanos coming up. You'd walk him and then deal with Martinez. So there's the walk to Castellanos, and now Victor Martinez. And with that, Adolis Garcia will go into left field for Marcell Ozuna. Victor Martinez has grounded into 18 double plays.
One last night.
He is 4 for 14 against Bud Norris. So here's your ball game.
I think you have to play your infielders, particularly the middle infielders, more in to give them the right on a slowly hit ball to go home with the ball. Right now they can't go home to get the speedy Reyes.
First pitch to Martinez is bounced to the backstop. Reyes will score, and the game is over. For the second consecutive game, Detroit walks it off 4-3.